Violent protests are continuing in Venezuela. Authorities saying at least 12 people were killed overnight. This, of course, is the day after General Motors said the government seized its manufacturing plant. That put 2,678 workers out of work. Here now is Vanessa Neumann, Foreign Policy Research Institute Senior Fellow and Asymmetrica President. Vanessa, you know, you're always hearing from socialists that they're for the people, for the people. Well, listen to this statement by GM. Right. They came out with a statement saying, as a consequence of what the government did, GM announces the immediate cessation of its operations in the country, ensures, as far as the authorities permit, payment of the employee separation benefits arising from the termination of the employment relationships due to causes. So they say they're for the people, but they always end up hurting the people.
They do. And at Asymmetrica, we're always advising businesses, and I've had several businesses in various different sectors, financial sector, transportation sector, considering when is the right time to come into Venezuela, and they've pulled back because of this, because they saw the unrest coming. Well, we saw the unrest coming, and the ability of the government to still seize things. So some people are still transacting business into it, but nobody wants to own a plant anymore.
You know, it didn't just start with Chavez.
No.
Long before Chavez, back in the 1970s, there was a president named Carlos Andres Perez, and he was a socialist, and he took over the oil companies. There were a lot of foreign oil companies there. So it really, the ball started rolling a long time ago, 1970s. He ran the oil companies into the ground. The oil companies in Venezuela used to be terrific, but he put his cronies in. So subsequent presidents put their cronies in, and suddenly you had, you know, these cronies who didn't know anything about oil business involved in the business.
Well, exactly. At the time when Venezuela nationalized the oil in 1976, it was a spectacular oil company. It was one of the best-run oil companies on the planet.
Because it had been private.
Because it had been private, and you had the best of international talent. You had the Brits, the Americans, and the Dutch. But then as that personnel left, and you had the attrition of personnel, management went down. The real turning point was in 2002, when the oil just stopped producing out of protest to try and get Chavez out. Chavez cleaned house. He kicked all the oilmen out and militarized PDVSA. And ever since then, that's when we went off the cliff. So now it's a lousy oil country. I mean, it's extraordinary that a country that's one of the most oil-rich countries in the world, and you got people eating out of garbage cans. You have people literally starving to death despite their oil wealth. Absolutely. And in fact, it's even worse than that, because now we basically see that the oil business is almost being used against the people it was meant to save. It's supposed to be supporting the Venezuelans, and instead it's become a giant kleptocracy. It has bought influence in other countries that are enemies of the U.S., and it's still making donations to political campaigns to stop sanctions being imposed on it, and the people continue to starve.
Yeah, socialism at its finest, right? Venezuela. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Great to see you.